Natural physics is a concept astrophysicist Leroy Larry developed that explains in down-to-earth scenarios how the principles of physics could have come about from observing nature. Each episode begins with a scenario, followed by an example to illustrate the application of these principles in futuristic research at the frontiers of science, such as Leroy's astrophysics doctoral research at CINESPA, Center for Space Research, and then concludes with an exploration of how these same principles could have very well been used by ancient cultures and civilizations. Mathematics is naturally encountered and incorporated as the exciting and fun tool of science that it is. Science is the window into our amazing world of nature, and mathematics is the tool to open that window. Natural physics encompasses current, futuristic, and ancient physics, and ties them together by the principles of physics that are common threads running throughout each.
Look at the camera, Dean. Greetings.
Hi.
I'm Leroy Larry, and welcome to Natural Physics, live from Costa Rica. I have here with me my youngest son, Deanie, who wanted to say hi to the camera, Deanie.
Say hi, baby.
And my wife.
Third billing.
Now, remember from last episode, I was told not to say my wife and tears in the same sentence. So
one time you can do it because that makes sense, but not each time you say my name or say my wife, Tirza. What you can introduce it, but then I don't think you need to do it. Like you don't sit there and say my name's Leroy Lair every time you say hi. My name's Leroy. You know what I mean?
Actually, give me the quantum levels in quantum physics, right?
I understand.
Okay, everybody.
It's a very valid
Bruce.
point.
Hey, Bruce. Come in, Bruce. Okay.
It's a valid point.
Whoa! What?
Valid.
Okay.
Bruce, you have different
this
hair.
Is something I wanted you to bring up. Yes,
Bruce?
I think you've got a very valid point here. A very valid point.
No, stay for a minute. Bruce, what is the name of this particular person?
I would appreciate if you would address me. I am speaking. If you would give me the honor of addressing me.
So, everybody, forewarning, this show is out of bounds. It's our finale for season 2. Hey, everything goes. Okay, so if you want to extract yourself now, I will understand because this is going to be so much fun. Baby, don't go anywhere. Come back. No, I have something. Come back. So, okay.
I heard you say if you would like to distract yourself now.
Okay, no, I didn't.
Somebody told me this
okay,
was a Christmas.
Bruce.
They told me this was a Christmas show.
Okay, Bruce. Now that's the rabbit.
Bruce, yes.
Now,
I am here.
Bruce.
I am here.
Bruce. Everybody, you know Bruce from season 1, my colleague, my physics and fun colleague, who I had the unbelievable, fortunate from the universe to meet him and his wife. And what they're doing now, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, is totally, no, I've never been able to do that. Oh, you can do that?
No problem.
Oh, see, you learn something about your spouse every day. No, I didn't know you could do the Spock thing.
You did too.
No, I didn't.
You always told me that you had to pull your fingers apart.
She's got the pterodactyl toe claws, where she can grip stuff with her feet, her toes. I can't do that. Bruce, can you grip stuff with your toes on your feet?
Well, generally no, but under certain situations.
Okay.
How's Ana Luisa, your beautiful wife?
She's very well. She's doing something in the back. She sends her greetings and felicitations, and on the Christmas show. And she wishes she could be here, but she sends her best greetings.
Thank you. And you know what? Best greetings to you guys. But your video that you guys did in your outreach
We're gonna play that.
was phenomenal. And I'm so happy Leroy shared that with me. And I can't wait for the viewers and listeners to watch it as well.
And everybody, let me just say that as you hear Bruce speak, when we watch the video, whenever he wants to introduce it, him singing, Bruce, I would not pair your speaking voice with your singing voice. I mean, it's amazing. Your speaking voice to me is kind of like solid and granite and rock and yeah, ha da da. And then when you're singing in this video, your voice is so very melodic and very just smoothly rolling along with the energy
There's
of the
talent
universe.
there, buddy.
Definitely. So I'll say no
Well,
more.
All depends on the audience. I mean, I can do death metal. Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches in black masses.
Excellent.
Evil
The wheels
minds
just
that
went
plot
out the window for this episode.
destruction,
Well, don't.
sorcerers of death's construction. You know, I can go Black Sabbath. If
Okay, what's that group
You
called,
got it.
Bruce? Huh?
Well, Black Sabbath, if I remember correctly.
Black Sabbath. Okay. Whoa. And you know what, Bruce?
It was such a long time ago.
Oh man, I couldn't hear what you said, Bruce. Could you repeat what you said, Bruce?
It was such a long. It was such a long time ago.
Bruce, we're not that old, okay? Now
Actually, we're older than you, buddy. So speak for yourself, Leroy.
back in LA, Bruce, I had a buddy lived in the neighborhood who was a rocker. You know, he did a DVD, and he had that rocker voice like that, right? Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith, and I mean, he had that rocker voice. So when you did what you just did, that's that same deal where you just have that ability to project, but yet in the video, which everybody is going to see and listen to, you will see how Bruce, my colleague, can transition from that rocker to this very smooth, melodious. You know what? I mean, I'm not going to give it too much more away. Okay, Bruce, now, everybody, we have the rare opportunity to be exposed, or no, I would say revelated, as in revelation, to Bruce's full tour that he hinted upon in a previous episode. We have time now. We're going to do it. Okay. So before we get to that, though, you know, you got to leave the goodies for the end, right? Because this is our season 2 finale. And what we're going to show later is very significant as opposed to where we're going to go from here. Phase 1 was season 1, season 2 weekly natural physics show. We are going to transition into phase 2, which is going to consist of more of a documentary flair, okay? We are going to come up with documentaries, which I'm sure has never, ever been done, okay? So,
That's a given.
Thank you. Okay, so now, Bruce, hold tight. You are gonna have full reign in a minute. As a prelude, I'm gonna do a share screen here. Okay. I guess I am. Okay, so I am going to minimize that, and what I want to show you, everybody, is okay. You remember my photos that were sent to me by the director of the Baduka Indigenous Community Museum in the village of the Baduka. Baby, don't go anywhere.
I want a club soda.
Okay, she wants a club soda. Okay, anyway, now I mentioned in a previous episode that I had had the opportunity to make contact with an individual who works at the National Museum of Costa Rica and is a graphic design artist and works with the archaeologists, the outreach, all the different departments because this person's job is to advertise for events that will benefit not only the Baduca but all the indigenous communities in Costa Rica. I'm sure the Yeti microphone picked up the pop of my wife's
We'll give him a
uh,
shout out to Shasta.
Canadian Shasta Club Soda. Okay. Anyway, so and all this is going to come to a fore towards the end of this episode. Okay, so let me just show you some photos that first. Let me start with the photos just to refresh everybody's memory. These are the photos that the director of the museum sent me of their indigenous uh, community museum. Okay. Okay. Just bear with me, please. And this is the photo of you podcast listeners. Please pipe into the recorded episodes on Facebook and YouTube and maybe Twitch. I don't know about Twitch, but look at them, okay? I mean, I so much appreciate you listening without a doubt, but hey, check out the visual. Okay, so there's that photo. Okay, the sphere peeking out at us. And then here's the full sphere that they actually, it was quite a logistics endeavor to haul this. I mean, look at the perfect sphericity, and you know I want to use that word,
Sounds like I made
of
that up.
that sphere. I don't see a crack,
Excuse me.
a crevice. I mean, I don't see any deformation. I mean, how can you do that back in pre-Columbian Mesoamerican times? I mean, how can you how can you do that? I just ask everybody, anybody in the world, please, you know, you're always welcome to give us questions and comments. Anybody out there, hey, give me your ideas of how you think this was accomplished thousands of years ago. Okay? I mean, seriously. Okay. So I'm gonna okay, and then the last thing I'm gonna show is the this is the museum, what it's made out of, the lumber from the area. Okay. Now I'm gonna go to this is after. This is before everybody. This is before the renovation occurred. Okay. So here we go. This is before they did what they're doing. And this is by courtesy of the person, the graphic design artist at the museum. So this is what it looked like before the renovation. Okay. This was the
There's a
Baduka.
cross and a mountain behind a thatched wooden bamboo building, approximately, let's just call it 30 by 30. I'm not sure
Yes.
what that be in meters. Sorry about that conversion, but beautiful day outside, green trees, thatched roof, A frame, and that is the before picture for you listeners.
I was going to say, you podcast listeners, that was for you. And interesting, the proximity of a symbol of what you would call modern religion to ancient, right? Ancient beliefs, pagan that they're called, which again, I don't like to use because it's the ancient culture, it's the ancient science and technology of ancient civilizations, which a lot of times, a lot of times the new religion did not want to recognize. They thought it was pagan to be able to tune in to the energy of the earth. Okay, intelligent women were called witches because they had knowledge about the earth, because they had knowledge of being able to use herbs and other plants to help people, to heal them, right? Yeah, the ignorance of religion can very well be an obstruction to the advance of human civilizations. I've always said that. Okay, all right, now let me minimize that. Another picture that was provided to us is this right here. Okay. Okay. See, oh, now you remember I mentioned in a previous episode that it was quite a logistics endeavor to get that perfectly shaped sphere from its location at the archaeological site to the Paducah Museum. Okay. So this is a picture of right after they had accomplished that feat. And again, however they did it, don't you wonder how ancient peoples did it? How did they move these artifacts around, right? I mean, I can tell you without knowing the specifics that it took this group of modern engineers and technologists a good bit of planning to deliver this sphere to the Paducah Museum. So much so that they were unable to open on their planned inauguration date of today. Actually, remember we had planned to broadcast live because the museum, as indicated by the director of the museum, has internet Wi-Fi, and so we would have been able to broadcast live from the Paducah Museum today. Okay, but because of logistics problems such as this, that inauguration date has been postponed. Okay, so one more photo. Okay, I got to get Bruce on here. Okay, let me just. Okay,
Baby, do you think that sphere is as big as the one that was in Universidad de Costa Rica that the picture of you is? Do you think it's approximately that size or a little
it
larger?
looks about. I think it's actually. I think it's okay. Here's the crew. You know, that's just a quick pick. And then, interesting enough, this individual included this photograph that he "What's up" me, right? Of I guess how uh, they perceive the spheres as having been used, right? You can see,
Artist rendition.
yeah, perfect. Artist rendition, two spheres allocating the entrance to a hut, which is probably a chief or some other person of high stature. Okay, all right. So now, uh, I'm gonna stop. Actually, you know, while I have it up, because once I stop sharing screen, I'm gonna just be done with it. I'm gonna bring Bruce on, and okay, so actually, there's a map. Bruce and his wife Ana Luisa, they went to a remote indigenous tribe, and I looked on the internet to see if I could find a map that would show the location of all the indigenous tribes in Costa Rica, and I could not find any. True enough, the internet is the world's largest library. You can find anything, but sometimes there's no substitute for good old hard copy print paper. So this is a map that my wife Tirza had in her possession, and I just want to show you that. Okay, this is the map in its entirety. Okay, and I'm gonna
Showing
Ray
the
Ray
country of Costa Rica.
Ray do some applause and let me know that everybody's seeing this and can hear me too. Most excellent. Okay, all right. So what I want to get to is um, in the southern part of Costa Rica. Here is where the Baducas are located. Okay, okay. I'm gonna swing over, and you can see on the map I have other sections, but you can see, yeah, that's okay. Let me close this. So in the southern part of Costa Rica,
Closer to the Pacific or the Atlantic, baby?
closer to the Pacific, actually on the Pacific. Okay, I don't want that. I'm sorry, but I had it
It's
all.
close to Drake Bay, which is the
I had it.
Pacific
I had it all
southern part
rearranged.
of Costa Rica.
Okay.
The Osa Peninsula. It wasn't far from there. It's a beautiful area. We had a great river, and
Okay.
so we had all kinds of stuff, not only the spheres.
All right. So, okay. You know, it's so weird, huh? Everybody, I call it the machine syndrome, where things are working fine, and then when when you go to operate them, you have, okay, I don't want that one. What I want to do is I want to go to the area where the Badukas are. And okay, here we go. I think I had it up to, everybody, I went and I looked at last episode, and Tirza had indeed already said some things that I guess I was so excited and having so much fun on our Christmas show that I missed hearing it. So I'm sure I brought this up before and I just missed it. So, okay, here we go. Okay, you see right there where it says Baruka, okay, and Palma Sur is, let me blow it up just a little bit more here. Okay.
Baruka tribe is located on the south.
There's Palma Sur.
Yeah, but you
Okay.
need to explain to him that on the main road going south to Costa Rica, excuse me, towards Panama, that is what the map is showing. So it's basically east of the Pacific Ocean and then going south towards Panama.
Okay. And it took us about 6 hours to drive the Palma Sur down to our home here in Huachipilin. And as you can see, you have the Baduka, the Reserva Indigenous Baduka Triabo. And then look here. Here's another indigenous tribe. And you remember me telling you that the guest that at our Airbnb told us that there was another community in the proximity that he thought we may have a better opportunity to talk to as opposed to the Baruka. So I'm sure this is who he was talking about. Okay,
What's
and
the name of that indigenous reserve?
it says Reserva Indigena Cara. I just said that.
Okay.
Oh, I finally got one on her, everybody. I just said
How
that,
how
and
did
she
you
didn't
pronounce
hear
that?
me.
How did you pronounce that?
Kudo.
Kude.
Cur Kude. Okay, okay.
Okay. L.
Now, Bruce will correct me, I'm sure, but let me just zoom out. Now, I want to show everybody that in this same area of the Baruka, there are the tribe that Bruce and his wife visited, which I believe were called the Ujores Soter Kubota. And let me go a little bit further up. This is the map that I physically showed last week. But the point is, everybody, is that on this map, I have counted about 10 plus indigenous tribes in Costa Rica. And when Bruce comes on, he's going to show a beautiful video that was made from him and his wife's Ana Luisa's trip to one of these indigenous tribes. So, phase 2 of natural physics is going to be about going. Oh, one thing I wanted to show. I'm going to come back to this, but did everybody hear her say? In other areas of Costa Rica, there's other indigenous tribes as well. I mean, okay, for example, on the Caribbean side, where'd the mouse go? Okay, there it is.
It's
Okay.
hiding from you so you can get off the visuals.
Okay. Now, this is the Caribbean side, everybody, Limon. And we came here before we moved here in 2012.
13.
Well, we actually moved here in 2012.
No, we got our place.
No,
25
well, that's
property.
moving here. We paid the
No,
rent,
You don't move until you physically occupy it.
but your energy is there.
No, okay.
We made the decision that we were going to leave the
Okay.
United States and come here
Alright.
for a new life, and that was
Okay.
made in 2012. And you know why I make such a stress on 2012, everybody, is because remember how, oh, the Mayan calendar 2012, the world is going to come to an end on December 21st, winter solstice 2012, right? Remember that? But then you had other cultures like the Zulu and other ancient cultures that said, no, it's not the end of the world. It just means there's going to be a new way of thinking around the globe. There's going to be a new mindset, a revelation, a new way of living, right? So when December the 21st, 2012 came around, guess what? I had been hired to teach here in Costa Rica. And for us, it was a revelation, a new way of living. We were going to move here to Costa Rica, a new life. and I just I do nothing but a credit the universe to having guided us from that moment on. So that's why I make such a big hubbub about no, we came here in 2012, not 2013. Okay.
And we were on the Atlantic coast on the 21st
Okay.
at Puerto Viejo.
So everybody, there's a tribe here called the Bree Bree, which let me see if I can find it on here. I probably won't be able to because I'm looking for it.
Panama, baby.
Okay, it's further down.
See?
There's another tribe here called the Bree Bree, which has been affiliated with the Spheres, and I can't find it, of course, but it's on the map here. The point is that
Let's
phase
use the map.
phase two of natural physics is gonna involve going first of all, starting with the Baluka, and okay, I'm gonna get rid of this map. Okay,
Yay.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna bring up.
You gotta be
Okay,
killing me.
okay. So if you go to the Baduka website, this is their website, and there's an organization called La Flora. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, which is the women elders. Oh, I know where it is. If I go here to right here, you will see how it's actually spelled. It's spelled LAFLORA. So that's the women elders I was referring to that are waiting for us to come there, for me to give my presentation to them about our astronomical knowledge, uh, the way I did in Nigeria, and then to have them tell us their take on it and also what they know about the spheres. And then from then, everybody, we are going to collaborate with Bruce and his wife, Ana Luisa. And as they go to these remote villages, these tribes, we hopefully can join them and do natural physics with what Bruce and his wife do. Because I tell you what, everybody, now I'm an astrophysicist, black holes. I'm gonna stop sharing screen, okay, because I'm getting ready to bring Bruce on. So let me go back. Okay. Now, black holes are ultimately so exotic and mysterious, but do you think we will ever, with our technology, be able to travel those millions of light years and get up close and personal to a black hole? No. So we're completely dependent upon the data that these deep space probes and these telescopes send us. But there's nothing like getting up close and personal to a mystery. Everybody, the spheres, they are here. Okay? Okay? They exist, which means a technology existed to produce that. It's not like, and it's so cool that we actually can see black holes, don't get me wrong, and quasars and other outer space objects. But these enigmas are right here. And the fact that they exist says that somebody at some point in time had the science and technology to produce them. They exist. We're not looking at them. I mean, what if our telescopes were so jacked up that they were sending astronomers and astrophysicists out there? Please excuse me for this, but what if the data we were getting back was totally jacked up, right? What if a neutrino went through the telescope analyses of the black hole in the middle of Sirius that twisted it so that the data that we got was not really what was out there? Because we can't get up there. We can't get out there and see that, touch it, smell it, taste it, feel it, hear it. We can't. But these spheres, they are here. They exist. So we know that somebody somewhere was able to do this. And the only thing that separates us from that is the sea of time. With the black hole, you have the sea of not only time, because what we're looking at out there, we're seeing thousands of years after they really existed, because that's how long it takes light to get to us from where these objects are. They may not even be there anymore, right? Okay. So you not only have the sea of time, but you have the sea of distance, distances that we can't even comprehend with our way of measurements on Earth or even around the Earth, right? Millions and millions of light years away. I mean, unbelievable.
Question.
Question, yes.
Aren't black holes spherical?
They are. They are supposedly,
Maybe the sphere is rolled out of the hole.
oh,
Just a
oh, and
thought.
that rhyme. By the way, everybody listening and viewing, you can type in a word, question, you can. Okay, okay, I need to cut off because I want to give full reign to Bruce. But okay, everybody. So, again, the spheres are physical. They're not something observed from far away through telescopes and satellites. These objects are right here where you can touch them. So they represent a science and technology that we are unaware of. And because I know that somebody out there somewhere knows something, we are going to start with the Badukas and then work our way to those other indigenous tribes that are in that locality and then go from community to community, okay? That's the only way to connect the dots. That's the chance we have. Because what I wanted to say was, so it's so easy to forget things. It's so easy for things to get lost in history, right? If it's not written down, if it's by the spoken word, things that were 10 years ago that used to be a building and now is a parking lot, unless people remember that, it gets lost. So the only way is to talk to the people. Somebody's going to provide that little bitty hint that's going to enable us to connect the dots and to work our way towards figuring out how the spheres were used as an ancient lunar calendar that could predict lunar eclipses. Okay. Before I turn it over to Bruce, baby, would you like to add anything to that?
Maybe we're going to connect the spheres instead of connecting the dots.
Right. And her statement about the spheres coming from a black hole. Hey, okay. Okay, so Tears and I are going to come back at the end of the show, but now I want to turn it over to an original member of the Fat Pat, Bruce Callow. And remember, fat means physics with attitude. Enjoying physics as the amazing window into our amazing world of nature and mathematics as the tool to open that window, okay? The Fat Pack, physics with attitude. So, Bruce, please
Enjoy,
come on.
everybody.
All right.
It's
okay.
awesome.
Okay.
I hope people could watch this as well.
Hey,
I'm
Bruce.
sorry. I lost the signal there briefly. Sorry. I had to come back
That's
in.
okay. That's okay, Bruce. Okay. So, Bruce, I introduced you as the original member of the Fat Pack, and I told everybody that what Tears and I plan to do, phase 2 of the Natural Physics Show, is to go to the different indigenous communities in Costa Rica and talk to them about the spheres. And what you and Ana Luisa did a week ago is exactly what we want to do, and we hope to collaborate with you and Ana Luisa because, hey, you can't get any better than to talk to the people who would have the best knowledge of the spheres. So, everybody, my colleague, and who I'm so fortunate to know him and his wife, Bruce Callow.
Our friends, our new friends for the past, is it over a year now? It'll be 2 years in March, right, Bruce?
Yes.
Yeah, no, thanks so much, and congratulations on all the work you're doing to give profile to the Baruchs and other. I'm just going to change my microphone here because the one that my webcam doesn't seem to work so wonderfully. So let's try this. I'd like to share my screen if I could for a moment. I've got a Google map that can show a little bit more graphically exactly where the area where we went to, if that's possible. So I'm sharing my screen right now. This is a very, very forested area. I'm not sure if you guys can see that at the
I can, Bruce. Yes, we can.
moment. So to put it into perspective, this is one of the most remote and beautiful, perhaps beautiful areas of Costa Rica. The road access is very limited. The city of Turrialba is like the main access point, and then you go through a series of smaller towns uh, as you get closer to the territory that we went. Colegio Ula Kicha is the one you can see. That's where we went in the center. Geographically speaking, I'll zoom out, and then you can get a point where this is located actually in Costa Rica as a whole, and it's practically in the geographical center of the country. Are you guys seeing that? Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
Bruce, excuse me, I have a question. Is that anywhere, because you had mentioned Turrialba, is that not too far from one of the other World Heritage sites, the Guyaba?
Kiabo.
Giabo? Is that in that, not far from
Guayaba.
that?
Gua, 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 Guayabo. It's relatively close. In fact, one of the teachers at the school we went to, he lives in near Guayabo. It's about a 2-hour motorcycle ride on the mountain passes. That those are the roads. They're basically trails, or sort of gouges in the sides of the mountains that they use. You can only pass these in a very, very good vehicle, and only in the dry season. I guess you can go in the rainy season, but they use actually chains on the tires, and mostly it's like the 4x4, the recreational vehicles, motorcycle, or by horseback, or even walking, because people in that part of the world, they're used to walking 2 to 3 hours to get to where they
Wow.
need to go.
Wow.
So
Wow.
the remoteness of this area is striking, but at the same time, the beauty of the area is fabulous. So if you zoom in, you can see that the area where we do is in the center of the Quebecar indigenous territory, and it's national parks and Blanca, the Chiripo volcano, Chiripo mountain, sorry. It's not too terribly far. But people think Costa Rica may be a small country, but believe me, when you're in an area like this, it's very deceptive, because just from Turrialba, the major center, to the school, took us over 2 hours, and there's a reason for that too, because of the dangers of the mountain roads, and just yes, people are walking on those roads. They're by and so on and so forth. So Google Maps is a wonderful resource to be able to access, to get really a deeper knowledge of the how mountainous Costa Rica really is. And we go by the Rio Pacuare, and wonderful areas. We had to cross actually a couple of rivers. In the dry season, it's possible to go through the rivers. You would not be able to go to this area easily at all during the rainy season. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of the context of we're doing. And then if you'd like to show the clip, we were
Bruce,
very
I have a
very
Bruce. Can
privileged
I
to be
Bruce? Can I
invited.
ask you? Bruce, can
Sorry, go ahead.
can I ask you a couple of questions? Okay.
Of
What
course.
vehicle? What kind of vehicle did y'all have to rent, or what kind of vehicle did you use, or did you have to rent it, or do you have that kind of vehicle to go down into that area?
Well, we were invited by the English teacher of the school, who we met at a conference a couple of years ago where Anna and I spoke to a conference of English teachers from around the country at Tech, the Costa Rica Institute of Technology. And he followed up with us a few months after, but then the pandemic came in and just we shut down all of our outreach activities, going to schools, because Anna and I normally would be out once a week going to a school or university or somewhere. But after March of 2019, it was impossible, right,
Right.
to get out there. So this was literally like our second, going out and having live workshops. So they sent a car for us, and it was a 4x4. I can't remember the exact model,
Wow.
and we needed something really durable and something quite big because we organized a donation campaign to coincide with the actual workshops to take
Right.
advantage of a trip like that, because how often are you going to be able to go to a place like that? So yeah, you'll
Seriously.
see that a little bit in video. And so we're really grateful to all the people that pitched in, and some of the institutions too, believe it or not, that pitched in as well. But it's a grassroots effort, and in the end, people helping people or people working with people tends to work quite well, rather than necessarily institutions sort of expecting too much of that. So
Yes.
without
Yes.
going into too many details, I've learned from experience that the smaller projects like this sometimes can get a better result than years of planning working with big institutions.
Oh, for sure, Bruce. For sure. I mean, it's like the individual that took upon himself to do the Star Trek continues, right? No major industry or film studio or whatever would do it, and he did it, and look what it became. I mean, I mean that's the power of one, right? With a whole lot of help. Yes, Bruce. The second question. What type of COVID-19 precautions did you and Ana Louise have to take, and not only to go to the village, but to be also notified of the status of the village with respect to COVID?
Well, luckily that area is so remote, and the people live like social distancing is like a natural phenomenon. It's um, automatically they don't have any like a major towns around there at all. So Anna and I, of course, were vaxxed to the maximum. I guess you could say I'm three times since I had a light COVID, earlier this year, which gave me more immunity, and then with two shots. So I'm pretty much like on the third vaccination level. Anna, of course, got hers without any hesitation. And out in the community, well, basically just to observe basic protocols, but in an open area with all of that fresh air, we were, it wasn't really mentioned by anyone specifically, other than just to observe common sense. And since we'd already observed that, it was not really an issue.
Wow. Okay. Because as I mentioned, I certainly hope and look forward to us collaborating with you and Ana Louise uh, as you go to these villages, and I know some we'll be doing on our own as well. But again, all this ties into the phase two of natural physics, which is going to be on a documentary type mode, no longer weekly. We're going to uh, uh, go forward in what I said about establishing a dialogue, starting with the Badukas and then expanding out to the other communities in the Diki Delta in that area. And then from there, because somebody has to know something, somebody somewhere has to know something. So, Bruce, um, let me ask you this, and then please introduce your beautiful video. And everybody, I'm just gonna say this. Okay, as you listen to Bruce's speaking voice, I want you to hear his singing voice, and I am amazed. I am totally jazzed. So, and he's a rocker on top of that. Okay, Bruce, take it away.
Take it away,
I
Bruce.
remember,
Yes,
Enjoy.
I remember,
yes.
I'd run into elementary school students, my form students, and they would say, "Teacher, you don't talk like that when you're singing." Is that kind of like that, Leroy? You don't you don't sound like that
My
when you're
point.
talking.
Oh, Bruce, it's amazing the dichotomy there. And you know I don't want to use that word. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, if you're not careful, I'm going to bring out the rabbit again.
Oh, hey, anytime, Bruce. Anytime. Okay.
Bruce, excuse me. Didn't it seems like you got your hair cut since I last saw you?
You know what? Thanks for noticing. All these details. Um, I wanted to get a little bit lighter, for the long sweaty trip, and yeah, it was all good.
You didn't
The
get the
cold
hair
water,
joke, did you, Bruce?
the hair. Oh, well, I did get a haircut too, so it was just you got me on
I wasn't
that
actually
one.
talking about your haircut, but I was kind of throwing it in there with the rabbit.
He doesn't like being called that.
Oh, he's a hare,
No, I am a rabbit.
a wabbit.
A wabbit. He likes being called a wabbit.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
I don't even know which camera I'm using, so my rabbit's getting his cues all mixed up here.
Excellent. Hey, okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Thanks,
But
wingman.
but on a serious note, we're really honored. We were really honored to be invited out there. This Pedro
Yeah.
Morales, the English teacher, like he's the guy, right, who organized everything. He's a Quebecer, and he went to study in San Jose and became this amazing super teacher. There's no other way to describe him. And
Wow.
to be able to finally go out to a community like this, it helps us complete a circuit with our work, with our books, because if you're just on the treadmill of doing online conferences, which we all had to do for a while, because that was the option. But the Central Valley is only one part of Costa Rica, and I think what you guys are doing is amazing too, by getting out there and meeting the Barucas, shining your light on them, getting people to know about the culture outside of the Central Valley. Here in the Central Valley, they make the most noise, and it's like the dominant culture. But there are many other cultures that need to be recognized. So I applaud you guys for what you're doing, and what we're trying to do is just be part of that same effort.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you so much, Bruce. I mean, thank you. Bruce, let me ask you this. How long have you been doing your outreach activities in Costa Rica?
Well, it depends really on the year, and who I'm sort of partnered with. Um, for a time, I was with an embassy. For a time, I was focused on sports, ice hockey. So it kind of like really depended on the moment. But I guess it hasn't really stopped one way or another for on and off for 25 years.
Wow, 25 years. Oh my goodness. Oh, I am
On
so
on and
honored.
off, on and
On and
off.
off. Hey, that's life. On and off. I mean, seriously. Bruce, everybody out there, as you watch this video, keep in mind who's singing. And also, now, Bruce, would that be called lead guitar or rhythm guitar that you do?
Yeah, rhythm. It's an
Rhythm.
acoustic guitar. Yeah, the
Okay.
track is pretty. It's not overly produced. It doesn't have a whole lot of bells and whistles, but it's a very sparse production, and kind of we thought it fit in an open, beautiful environment that we're trying to portray, and maybe a bit of sensitivity to a country that or part of the country that's been hidden, or perhaps someone in the Ministry of Education in Costa Rica could interpret that as hide. Why do you hide behind your desk,
Right
Mr.
on.
Bureaucrat, with all of your
Right on.
salaries and money? And why does it require, here's the question, why does it require international aid from an NGO, Rally International, to build that school? while these people are sitting behind their desks, shuffling papers. That's a
Oh yeah.
question I would raise.
I agree. I'm with you, Bruce. I'm with you raising that question. Oh,
And Bruce, also, you're very humble regarding what you achieved, because let me
yes.
tell you, I saw that video and I didn't know you had that talent as well. So when we go have our lunch, the four of us, I'd like to actually hear more about how you got into that, because that was amazing, and I just think that's really cool. Thanks, buddy.
Well, that's no, it's appreciated. Maybe music can bring something.
Good.
We
Good.
Yesterday I received a really beautiful reply after watching the video. It was from the head of outreach and education at the Voyager mission at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and a
Oh,
wonderful lady. Her name's Andrea, African American lady. She's been
oh,
at JPL for over 36 years, and
wow.
she gave me materials to, to give to students in workshops. But as we know,
Excellent.
we haven't been able to do that, right, for quite a
Right.
while. So I
Right.
literally took all this stuff I've been hoarding from this office, and just we put it in the truck, and we took that out there, and you'll see some of that in the video. So the
All
people at
right.
JPL appreciated that too.
Excellent, Bruce. All right. Okay, Bruce. Introduce your beautiful, amazing video. Please enjoy, everybody.
Turn it up,
Please.
baby.
Yes.
Oopsie,
Ramp
sorry.
it up. Ramp it up.
Okay, well,
Rocker.
thanks for watching.
And
My
friend.
colleague, the rocker. All right. Okay.
Bada
Okay.
bada bada boom.
Okay.
So it's
Okay, everybody, I have one question. Look at his face. Look at my colleague's face and the way he talks. Do you pair that with that angelic Coldplay, Seattle, Nirvana voice? Do you or do I mean? My goodness, Bruce! Wow, beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I always like to keep them guessing, right, Leroy? Keep the world
Now,
surprised.
okay, everybody out there in the world, picture this, visualize this. Me and Bruce on stage at whatever village it might
Sorry.
happen to be. What you just heard from Bruce, and then I'll bring with it a little old school R&B. Sam and Dave, right? We'll be Sam and Dave. I'm a soul man. I'm a soul man. Coming to you down a dusty road. Yeah, me and Bruce, Sam and Dave, right? And there's other duos too. Uh, Simon and Garfunkel. Do you know uh, the way to Scarborough Fair? Right?
I'm not.
I can do
Right?
I'm
that.
not. I don't know the way, so I'm
Right?
not going to go.
Okay, now Ray, I know we're gonna go over. This is our last episode. We will not go beyond the 1:30 mark. Uh,
What time is
2:30
it?
mark
Oh, you,
rather.
why do you need a
We
half
won't.
hour?
Well, we won't. I'm just letting Ray know that there's no way we're gonna go beyond that
Last word,
because
Larry.
now, Bruce, did you want to give us a tour of your collection?
Well, I know you guys don't have too much time, but thank you for the
We got
opportunity.
Bruce. We got time. We got time. I will suffer the reprimands. I will incur the cost. This is worth it. This is our final episode for season 2. And everybody in the world out there that listened and tuned in, watched, thank you so much. I mean, 21 plus countries, 50K listeners and viewers. The reason why I say and viewers is because what we know from our analytics report for podcast downloads, we have 46,000. So if you add to that those that have viewed on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch, I think we can just call it
What the
an
hell's
even.
Switch?
I know. I don't know really what
I
Twitch
still
is.
haven't heard of
Well,
it.
I think it's a more of a new generation thing. But hey, uh, but
Why would I want a new generation listening to us?
right. But anyway, we have 50K viewers and listeners around the world. And so thank you so much. And so this is our season 2 wrap up. And so I will come back with a little bit more nostalgia. But so we have time, Bruce. So please give us the tour. Would you please?
He's aboard the SS Enterprise right now.
Bruce, are you
So
there?
the walls are lead, so his connection must have come undone. I think we're having technical problems aboard Star.
Oh, there he is.
There he
Okay,
is.
Bruce. Bruce, give us your
Okay,
tour,
awesome.
please.
I don't know if I can use my camera to move around. I think I might be on the webcam here with you guys. Oh gosh,
Okay.
that's going to be slightly difficult. I switched to the camera inside my computer because it seemed.
Okay.
Let me try one more
Okay.
time.
Okay.
That'll be that I can give you guys a slight tour.
Okay.
Otherwise, it'll have to be for another time. I would like to mention though, if anyone's interested in supporting the school, the Quebecer school, we're still collecting donations, and in fact, there is a specific request for dictionaries, Spanish English dictionaries. If anyone
No.
wanted to send $20, $50, or whatever it is, Yeah, there. That's a specific request from the English teacher. Now that we've got like a pipeline set up with the driver, the guy, he's an amazing driver, Benicio, he'll be coming by our house every 3 months to 4 months, whenever is necessary to take stuff to the school. So just in case anyone got inspired and would like to help us out, to help out the community, we'd like to throw that out to your 50,000 people listening to this. Maybe
Right
one or
on.
two would
Yeah.
like to help.
Yes.
So
Bruce,
having
that's
said that,
fabulous. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Is it possible, buddy, that you could send a WhatsApp for me? Because then I can forward that to a lot of friends and clients I have here in Costa Rica as well as in the United States. And so when I travel back next year to the United States, that's something that we can work on there as well. So thanks for that information, Bruce.
no, totally. Thanks for the opportunity. It's been really neat because it's like a telethon in a way. People contribute $10 or 20 or 100 or whatever they can, or just bring in donations. They can drop it by the house, and we'll collect the materials and send it out there. So Anna and I won't necessarily be going out every single time, probably not. But we do have like communications and transportation things set up now, so that'll be good. So thanks for that. And gosh,
Hey,
I'm so
Bruce.
sorry
Bru-
I can't give
Bruce.
you the camera.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
hey, oh, Bruce. What is the address that people need to send inquiries to you? Your email address, or
yeah,
what would you say?
yeah, for sure. The email or just the WhatsApp number too. That'll work great. So
Okay,
either one.
and we can post that information, huh, on like Facebook and YouTube. I can post it on my business card too, where people can get that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, that'd be really awesome.
And Bruce, I have another idea as well. Previously, when we had the Airbnb, I'd say a large percentage of our guests were leaving items behind. And one thing that they did leave behind was their Spanish, because it is better to have a Costa Rican Spanish English dictionary if you can, versus a Spanish and English dictionary, because being Central America, we do have our own little dialect here. That being said, I wonder if there's something somehow we could reach out to any of the hotels around here, and if
Oh,
they have
excellent,
if they
excellent.
have some type of, let's say, a lost and found, where their guests are leaving things. We've had people leave ice chests here, you name it, ponchos, rugs, etc. So maybe we can check around and see if we can have any leftover items. If that's something, just an idea that just popped into my head.
And everybody,
Oh,
real quickly,
that would be
listen.
great.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to break. Listeners that can't see this, okay, the email for Bruce is bcallow consulting at gmail.com. So that's BCALLOWCONSULTING, bcallow consulting at gmail.com. Okay,
Yay.
yes.
It's so nice. No, appreciate it. And another small project we're going to be doing in probably January or February to follow up is to bring a couple, two or three of their high school students to San Jose just to visit university campuses because they'll be going to university within the next 2 years. The idea is to give them a little bit of a visit preview because it's the culture shock is intense. We even felt it ourselves after being in a quiet mountain, for 3 days without internet, and then coming back to
Wow,
the jarring Costa Rican,
unreal.
just everything, the messy bus stops and just noise. And then you get used to it after 10 minutes. But imagine someone who's lived their entire life in that environment, right?
Unreal.
So
Bruce, that's unreal. I mean, that what you just described of going from that kind of life to here, right, with the city and the noise and the people and the difference in the energy. Oh, how many people, everybody out there, how many of us think of that adjustment that you would have to make? I mean, yeah, we think about the differences in technology where you go from no internet, no electricity, dependent upon solar panels to supply your electricity, no internet whatsoever, right? You go from that to San Jose, right? I mean, the city. I believe Costa Rica was the third. I believe San Jose was the third city in the world to have electrical lights,
Correct.
street lights. So
Correct.
again, you go from a remote area like that to the center of a country that prides itself on being right up there with all the Western countries of the world, right? All the advanced technological countries of the world. So
Let us know if we
what
can help you with. Sorry to interrupt, Tony. Sorry. Let us know if we can help you with lodging. If you have need some extra lodging for
wait,
the
baby, let me
students.
finish my
I
so
know. I
what
said.
Thank,
I
thank
said.
okay,
you.
I'm sorry.
real quick.
Okay.
What an
Thank you.
adjustment, Bruce. Thank you for pointing that out because that's something that wouldn't even have hit me is that additional adjustment that these kids would have, they have to make. They would have to adjust to that quantum jump. Okay, now what were you saying, baby? I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Go
that's the
ahead.
thing.
No, I'm sorry to
Just
interrupt. I
just
just wanted to
further
say because
further to that.
you had mentioned that they were older, so we've got a couple extra spaces here, and you're more than welcome to them when that time comes around.
Wait.
That's awesome. So thank you so much. The thing
Oh,
is, yeah, to
yes.
give them a heads up, on what's the Ministry of Education. What they do is they say, okay, your entrance exams or blah 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 date. Like there's no a cultural sensitivity about any of that. So it's up to teachers and individuals to understand exactly what these people are going through, and by letting them come to San Jose, visit a couple of campuses, maybe meet some young people, have a round table with young people, and then when they come back a year later, it'll be way less like, oh my god, they'll be like, okay, yeah, this kind of like, it looks like something I can do rather than just this horrendous throw them into the meat grinder.
Bruce, okay, I don't know. Your video is frozen, but we can hear you fine. But Bruce, when you said about the cultural bias that these kids have to encounter, this is exactly the same that occurred with African American kids when it comes to an IQ test, okay? Because an IQ, and not only an IQ test, but a lot of college entrance entrance examinations or like the SAT, the other type of exams, they basically take into account that a student has had an average educational upbringing, which a lot of inner city kids, specifically black kids, never had that opportunity. So a lot of the questions that these kids encounter on these national exams that determine your destiny of getting into college are based upon the very inaccurate assumption that these kids have the same background that you have from some kid that came up in suburbia America or Canada or anywhere in the world, right? Having more of a privileged upbringing, let's say, being exposed to more than a kid coming up in a barrio or a ghetto. Okay, so what you just said about what these obstacles these kids encounter, which includes this cultural bias that is included in these evaluations that are given, the same thing was experienced by not only African Americans in the United States, but Native American students, Hispanic students. Yes, the same thing. Okay. All right.
Well,
Just wanted to
Awesome.
say that.
Yeah, no,
especially Bruce, you're from Canada, and what you're experiencing up in your country. your home country with what they're dealing with the schools there, finding all these native indigenous tribes. So I know that that's heavy on your heart, and it's heavy on all of our hearts. So it would all we can do. It does take a village. So
Yes.
you're at the Zendem village if you need anything with those kids next year. Looking forward to that.
And Bruce, let me ask you this: what was it that inspired you to be the awesome? You and your wife Ana Luisa. What is it that inspired you to be the heroes that you are to
Definitely.
do what you do for Costa Rica? What is it that flipped that switch and got you going? I would really like to know.
Well, I can't really speak for Ana Luisa exactly. It's just it's like who we are. You know, it's I don't consider ourselves to be heroes. Like we dedicate some time to this type of thing, so it's like just I guess about direct action. You know, I was a punk rocker in the way back, and I always thought the idea of direct action made sense. A lot of what the punk rockers said didn't make sense, but taking responsibility and you know yeah, it's hard to really describe. I grew up in a wealthy, not wealthy, but prosperous middle class area of Calgary, Canada, um, and it's just sort of like the epitome of suburbia. The entire city is practically like that. There weren't any slums in the entire city. We didn't even know what that was. And the first time I ever saw something like that was when I went to Nicaragua in 1988 with my university summer school. And I came face to face with what that looked like instead of just a political science lecture. And and then I got involved more with refugee communities. And by my last 2 or 3 years of living in Canada before I settled here, I was spending most of my time actually with Central Americans anyway. So it was kind of just a natural progression for me to settle down here.
Wow.
Were you involved in that separately than Ana Luisa, or was she involved in that already as well, or is that something you two did together?
No, we met in '93, and she had already had her experiences doing like a university thesis work, working with indigenous people, very, very culturally sensitive. And when we met, we were definitely on the same page. And one of the first things we did as a couple before we got married was helping kids from a poor neighborhood near the Savannah in Costa Rica, in San Jose, um, just go to the Savannah Park and play ball. So because it's instilled in me to do some sort of volunteer work, whether it's successful or not, we're not sure, right? But uh, we try, right?
Definitely,
Bruce,
Bruce.
Bruce, I disagree with you. I think it's successful no matter what. I mean, the effort that's put forth, the energy that's put forth out in the universe, whether it's successful on human uh, evaluations or whatever boards or committees use to determine how useful something is with respect to money and how much money it makes for whoever or whatever. Bruce, it's a win win no matter what. It's a positive thing that you're doing. And by any standards that don't need to be human, it's a success. That's what
Yeah,
I
no,
think.
yeah, no. You feel like you're doing what you can, right?
Right.
Exactly.
That's what you can. I mean, um, I call it the social worker syndrome, where you have a person that's so sensitive who's a social worker, and their first case, they never get beyond it because they can never detach themselves from that and move on, right? And to a certain extent, you have to be able to do what you can, but then you get to the point where you realize, okay, you have to move on to the next endeavor because you can't let yourself get swallowed up into that one particular situation, and you just have to walk that thin line because you want to make an impact, do what you can to put your energy out there to help the world, and you just have to keep going and do what you can. You just have to do what you can. Yes.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, it's been wonderful, and raising the family here and all that too. But yeah, well, thanks for the opportunity to share your Christmas episode with you, and I applaud everything you're doing, and so thanks again.
Well, now, Bruce, our episode show was last.
Our episode show, Christmas show.
Our Christmas show was last week, and you know what?
Oh, that's right. That is
Yeah.
true.
No, no, no. That's okay. No, but
I can get my hat if that'll help you out.
and actually, I
I
totally
remember.
told
I remember.
people. I totally told people that while we were having our broadcast, you and Ana Luisa were down in the central southern valley with that community, and again, everybody, uh, phase two of natural physics is going to be our collaboration with Bruce and Ana Luisa, and going to, okay, Tears' thumb pointing is saying that's all you, dude. I'll see you on the up jump or front,
Well, no, I
but
mean,
so this is the perfect lead in to what I wanted to say to everybody out there is that thank you so much for joining us for our 2 seasons of the Natural Physics Show. You humored me with having what I would like to call a television show, right? We had the podcast and the simultaneous live stream, which is the closest that I'll get to a TV show so far. Uh-huh. But thank you so much for joining us. And Bruce, to be here on our final show for episode 2 is just so perfect. Original member of the Fat Pack, and everybody. So our plan. Hey, please leave Bruce's picture back up because this is for all of us. Uh, so going forward, everybody, we are 221. Okay, I'm not quite within the Ray slap my wrist and tell me not to do that again.
You need to take advantage and
I'm not. I'm not.
do that.
So everybody going forward, Tears and I will endeavor to collaborate with Bruce and Ana Luisa on their awesome outreach activities and to add natural physics to that. We may be able to do some as well on our own, rent a car and go to some of these villages that I showed. So uh, we are going to now click into the documentary phase of our show, which means that we are going to start establishing a dialogue. Don't forget the women elders of the Buduka village. We have yet to talk to them and give a presentation to them, and then from then we will move on to the other communities in that area and just establish a dialogue with the indigenous communities of Costa Rica about the spheres because again somebody knows something. And so, everybody, I would like to give my wife Tears and Bruce any closing remarks, please.
I'm going to go first because obviously I jumped at the gun when I heard my name that I could talk. Those. Hey, so an idea I had, if you think about it, Costa Rica is close to the equator. And so they're saying that there's no spheres in Nicaragua, there's no spheres in Panama. So maybe there was some kind of tilting of the equator of the universe. And so they all just kind of settled in Costa Rica. Just something to think about. And so, Happy New Year, everybody. Happy holidays. Thank you, my husband. You're doing a fabulous job. Thank you for inviting me, Bruce. Thank you. And give my love to Ana Luisa. And just keep on doing what you guys are doing. Everybody just coexist. It takes a village. Be part of the village. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. It's really easy to do. It takes less energy just to be positive and happy and just think good thoughts and put a smile on your face. It's if not, you know what, just stay home. Just stay home and pout in your room or in the corner or both.
Bruce,
Apparently,
please, any
am I
closing
still
comments?
frozen? Am I frozen or am I talking live here? Can you see
You're
me moving?
frozen. We can hear you, but you're frozen. Your image
Yeah,
is frozen.
that's
But it's
funky.
a Bruce. It's a very nice image, though. It has a nice smile. You have a nice smile, tranquil expression on your face. It's a very nice expression, Bruce.
And I can
Yes.
Oh,
tell you got your
well,
haircut.
I guess I can live with that. I see the picture like down below. I'm talking, but whatever. That's good. I like this. It's easier. It makes me look
Weird. Oh,
that,
yeah.
no, nothing more than just to thank you guys again, and from the Quebecer people who don't have that much internet access, you guys are giving that outlet. So thanks to that, people who would like to contribute, get to know Costa Rica if you come here, get to know these places and explore beyond Jaco and the usual tourist destinations because there's a lot of amazing cultures here, right?
Yes. Unbelievably so. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you for joining us, and we'll just be picking up for phase two, right, Bruce? Okay, so everybody, and you have Bruce's contact information. Mine is LeroyLarry.com. Okay, LeroyLarry.com. Okay, throw us anything, comments, questions, and it's a dynamic business card, so I may post something on it from time to time. However, the one thing that I would like you to remember, and oh, by the way, I will definitely have to take certain steps uh, with respect to COVID to ensure that I'm able to travel with Bruce, Ana Luisa, and my wife Tirza. Okay, but she's not going. She said, but
uh,
so you know what we're doing, everybody. This is phase two of our show. We are gonna establish a dialogue with the indigenous communities of Costa Rica. That's what the Natural Physics Show is gonna be about in phase two. We had our podcast, 2 seasons, 12 episodes each. Now we're moving into phase two where we go out there and we talk to the people who would have the best knowledge about how the pre Columbian Mesoamerican spheres were used. So, everyone, this is what I will leave you with. Okay? Tune in. We're not going to tell you what's going to be in store, but tune in next equinox. That is spring equinox. Same fat time, same fat channel.